Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from. It's 9 o'clock where I am in Stockholm at the H&M Foundation office. So we'll just get this started and welcome everyone to this Planet Positive Perspectives Research Insight. The purpose of today is for the H&M Foundation team to be able to share with you and give you some sneak peeks into some of the ongoing research projects that we have together with our research partner, HK Rita, because we believe that the toolbox of the industry, the textile industry, needs to be filled with new solutions and new technologies in order to drive the whole textile industry in a more planet positive direction. So what we hope to do today is to pique your interest, maybe identify some synergies, possible test opportunities or prototypes, future collaborations, and so on. So for the coming 20 minutes, I will run you through quite a few very interesting research projects that are going on, and then we will have a Q&A session at the end. The whole session will be recorded and shared afterwards. The same goes for the presentation slides that you will see. We will actually share a bit more of a comprehensive presentation deck to everyone who signed up to the webinar with some more information. Please feel free to post any questions you have in the Q&A function in the webinar throughout the entire presentation, and then we will try to answer as many of them as we can by the end in the Q&A session. And if we're not able to cover all, we'll try to get back to you. So without further ado, I would like to dive into the different inpatient research programs that we have. Perhaps before we do that, let's just clarify the ambition and the purpose of the H&M Foundation, which when it comes to the planet side is about driving the industry, the textile industry, in a more planet positive direction. Open sourced sharing tools, new technologies, new solutions to the industry with the hope of accelerating change towards an industry that can regenerate, replenish, and create conditions for more life. And with that, we work together with our inpatient research partner, Hong Kong Research Institute for Textile and Apparel. And most of the different projects I'll present to you today are part of our program with them that we call Planet First, which is a 5-year research program building on a previous program called the Recycling Revolution. Within the Planet First program, the researchers at HK Rita is focusing on research covering planet positive materials, so new materials, fibers, and so on for the textile industry. It's focusing on planet positive processes. So how can we look at all the different textile production processes and identify new solutions and improvements? It is also focusing on post-consumer innovation, which for us is a lot about post-consumer recycling and textile-to-textile recycling, as well as smart supply chains. What I will go through is a selection of projects, so it's not covering all of them, but it's to pique your interest. So without further ado, let's start with the Green Machine. The Green Machine is actually a continuation of research performed during the Recycling Revolution program. It is a commercially viable technology that fully separates and recycle polyester cotton blend fabrics into new fibers. This, as you all know, I guess, is a breakthrough because a lot of the textiles used in the industry is a blend of polyester and cotton, which proves to be difficult to recycle and separate. The research team at HK Rita has developed this hydrothermal system using heat, water, and pressure, as well as chemicals, to separate the fibers. What comes out is the polyester fibers with a retained quality, so it can be used for new fibers. And the cotton can be recovered as a cellulosic fiber, cellulosic powder, which in itself has a lot of interesting opportunities. And I'll come into details on one of them in the next coming slides. But the status of the green machine is actually that this research is now ready to be scaled in production. In 2001, a full-scale machine with a capacity of 1.5 tons per day was installed in Indonesia, in Caltex. And there is also a license sold to, among others, ISCO in Turkey in order to get this up and running. So for the future here, there is a rollout of licenses to manufacturers and recycling centers, but call to action, there is also obviously a need to drive demand for the recycled output material from the green machine. So if you or anyone listening is looking to get more recycled content, fiber-to-fiber recycled content, please reach out and we can put you in touch with the right partners here. I did mention the cotton from the green machine being recovered as a cellulosic powder, and this powder can have a multitude of different user scenarios, one of which is called the AbsorBoost. And the AbsorBoost is a super absorbent polymer that is the cotton fiber from the green machine, which has been dissolved and cross-linked to become this absorbent powder that the HK Rita team, together with Shahi, a large textile manufacturer in India, is now testing as a soil application to growing cotton. And why this shows promising results is because this super absorbent polymer will actually retain soil moisture and hence reducing water consumption and in irrigation. And early trials actually also shows that it has a benefit on the cotton yield and the cotton quality. So this is a super, super exciting research program that is in, I would say, in early stage testing. We've had one yield of cotton tested with the AbsorBoost, and what you can see on the pictures here is the second trial that is also tested on organic cotton. And we expect to see a lot of interesting results from this in early next year, and are ready to see how we can scale and pilot this further. So truly a regenerative solution here. The next project I wanted to quickly update you on is a recycled leather project. So a lot of leather recycling today is used with synthetic non-recyclable materials such as PU or PVC. What the HK Rita team has managed to do is a way to shred leather into leather fibers and then extract the collagen from the fibers so that the collagen itself can form new leather-like properties. The one you see on the picture is a more foamy, thick version, which could be very interesting for a multitude of applications within the textile and apparel industry. The HK Rita team is also prototypes of thinner, more translucent or see-through versions of this. So if you're curious, this exciting project is actually entering a testing stage now where equipment is set up to get larger sheets of recycled leather so that it can actually be prototyped on different applications. So if you're looking for recycled leather and have applications you would be curious to test, reach out and we can see if we can have some collaboration opportunities here. EcoSweep is another interesting research program that the team at HK Rita is driving, which is attacking a whole different challenge in the textile industry, which is the collection of microfibers from wastewater. Microfibers is a known challenge to the industry, and the fact remains that a lot of wastewater in manufacturing facilities contain a lot of microfibers. And the HK Rita team has tested a way to use acoustic waves to actually, with a specially shaped chamber, trap and recover the plastic fibers efficiently. So unlike, for example, filtration processes, this system would enable a more continuous water treatment and an easier collection of the microplastic fibers. And it's pretty, rock and roll to be able to use the acoustic waves to do so. This system has been tested in prototypes during 2002, and during 2003, it will actually be put up in a more full-scale test, or full scale is to exaggerate, but 100 liters per hour testing facility in a lab environment, and then be upscaled to test in industrial plants. So we will keep you updated on the progress of this, because this could be an application that can solve a lot of the wastewater challenges in the industry. Another challenge that we love to look at the opportunity for is textile to textile recycling, and the fact that collection and sorting of used garments is a big bottleneck when it comes to how we deal with and manage the textile waste that is out there. One thing is how you could identify what type of fibers are in a textile and hence let it go to the right recycling stream. What the team at HK Rita is doing with the H&M Foundation in the Planet First program is to see if we can test to apply image-based AI and in a smart sorting technology, so that we first can actually identify whether the garment itself is suitable for resell or reuse. And then in a second step, use near infrared or hydrospectral technology in order to efficiently sort the garment in fiber types for recycling. So the whole goal of this program is to see if we can get enough imagery and AI in to actually identify garments that are useful and can deserve a longer life. This is in a really early stage, but we're very excited about it, and that's why I wanted to share it with you here as well. I also know that a lot of the industry is looking at collection and sorting, with both legislation coming and increased focus on textile waste in general. So if we together can find ways to deal with the bottlenecks of sorting and collection, I think there's a huge potential here. So a pre-study on this is actually done right now, which involves collecting millions and millions and millions of images in order to teach the machine how to differentiate. And early stage pilots, it is ready by the end of the year. We will keep you updated when this is ready to be tested and scaled. Then we have a project that we call Carbon Looper, which is also an example of an early stage project, which is the HK Rita team finding a way to actually apply functionality to cotton textiles that allows the textile to capture CO2 from the surrounding air. And the CO2 that is captured on the material during the day can then be released during the night in a hydroponic farm, which is what you see on the pictures here, which was done in a collaboration test project we had with Fotografiska, a Swedish photographic museum that had aprons with this technology, with the carbon looper on, that the waiters were wearing during the day, and then at night they were hung in the restaurant's hydroponic farm. The CO2 was released and went into photosynthesis for the salads and the herbs. This is, as you can see, again, a very early stage technology that we're very curious to explore more, both in terms of learning the level of adsorb capacity of the textile, but also to learn how the capturing and release can be managed in a way that actually capture and tie it. So the HK Rita team is now performing more tests on whether the release of the absorbed CO2 can be done in washing and water as well, but also looking at other applications. And from an H&M Foundation perspective, we're super curious to explore also further applications and uses of this technology, whether it is more aprons or uniforms, tablecloths, and similar. But we will keep you posted, and hopefully in the future, what if we could all wear textiles that could actually capture CO2 from the surrounding air. Before I move on, I just want to, because you hear I'm kind of plowing through here because I have so much I want to pique your interest on. Don't forget to use the Q&A if you have questions. You find it on the top bar. It's the one with like the question mark on the speaking bubble thing. So don't forget to post questions there if you have any, because we have time at the end to loop back and answer some of those. Okay. Another interesting research that is going on in the HK Rita lab in Planet First is a way to actually grow extra long staples cotton in a vertical hydroponic cultivation. And this project was developed partly because extra long staple cotton is an interesting commodity in the textile industry with very high quality. There's not a lot of it out there. And as most of you are aware of, I guess, the cultivation of cotton has a heavy environmental footprint and is one of the industry's largest challenges when it comes to finding new solutions. And at least to our, we see that there's going to be a need for a number of different solutions when it comes to using cotton in the future in the textile industry. But this is a very interesting one for actually being able to grow these extra long staple cottons in a way that uses a lot less water, and it actually reuses the little water that is used. So around 90% less water than a soil-based farming. It reduces the use of fertilizers. The plants are grown in vertical farms, which is very space efficient. And the growing time is less than 5 months. So you could actually obtain 4 times the annual output yield per unit area with this shorter growing cycle. So a very interesting test that is going on in the lab right now. The pictures you see here are from plants that are growing as we speak. They were planted in the end of September this year. So that means we'll get some more results on this within the coming 3-4 months. But if this is actually performing the way the team foresee it, this could be a more container-sized lab solution that could be scaled up in production, at least to a certain volume, which we find interesting. Another interesting project that kind of ties it all together when it comes to the inpatient research programs is the Open Lab. So a lot of the different research technologies that I've just spoken about is hard to just talk about. It's hard to imagine when you hear it, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it could look, what the end result could look like. So together with HK Rita, the H&M Foundation is supporting an opening of what we call an open lab, which will actually be a physical space in Hong Kong that can show tangible demonstrations, can invite researchers, industry partners, brands, suppliers, designers, product developers to come and see, feel, test, prototype, create together, stimulate potential new project ideas, and just physically be able to grasp some of these technologies and get access to it. We believe that this is a huge and important factor. The construction will start early next year, and we expect an opening by the end of next year. And we hope to be able to invite all of you to come and actually see, because seeing is believing sometimes when it comes to these projects. Before I round off and go into the Q&A, we have a couple of other projects that we run at the H&M Foundation that is not under the umbrella of inpatient research. One is what we call intentional collaborations. We know that we can do quite a lot with some of the partners we have. We know that we can do a lot more if we partner up together. One example of an intentional collaboration project we have is together with the Apparel Impact Institute and their fairly newly formed Fashion Climate Fund. This is a fund that will scale solutions for emission reductions in the supply chain. It has a structured program for like intake and vetting of projects, and excitingly, it will have an open source registry for climate solutions that can be applied in the textile supply chain. We believe that this is a key to unlock further investments and opportunities, and hopefully make the implementation easier. And I just wanted to say that in Q1 next year, the application page will be open, and also we will expect to see the open registry come to live during next year. So keep your eyes on that if you have not already. We also work with innovators in general at the H&M Foundation, and some of you might have heard of, or I hope you have, the Global Change Award, which is our annual innovation challenge. And we're super excited because tomorrow is the final day of the applications. So if you have an idea, you have like 24 hours to complete an application and get it in. But this means that we will actually be able now to start the fun part of the Global Change Award, which is to plow through thousands of applications to find and select the entrepreneurs and startups that will be supported with funding, an accelerator program, that will take them hopefully to scale quicker. And the winners will be announced in June 8th next year. So stay tuned. With all this, my ambition and the ambition from the entire team at the H&M Foundation is 2 calls to action. If I have piqued your interest in any of these projects, please reach out and we can put you in touch. We love to be the spider in the web, connecting people to one another in order to create impact. So any questions that you don't want to type in the Q&A box, any interests that you have, reach out and we will put you in touch with hopefully the right people. The second is we are always looking for different challenges or opportunities, gaps where you feel you lack a solution in order to drive your business, whether you're a brand or a supplier, in a more sustainable and planet positive direction. Throw us your biggest challenges. As a philanthropist, we can go in, take early stage risk, and we'd love to hear what are your biggest needs and where you see a lack of tools in your toolbox. And finally, we not only work with planetary issues, we also work with inclusive societies. And before I open up for the Q&A, I just want to highlight a report or 2 reports that just came out from my colleagues in the Inclusive Societies team. They have a really exciting project coming now focusing on women garment workers in Bangladesh. The link to these reports will be part of the sendout. So if you're curious to see what the RMG sector in Bangladesh has in the future and how we can support, please download and read. And that was all I had to hopefully pique your interest and energize your vision for the future. This is the Planet Positive team at the H&M Foundation. We are here because we want to fill your toolbox with new solutions and new ways of working. Reach out to any of us if you have any questions, and this is where you find us.